welcome back. Yep, as you can see, for the background, it's a little bit different. Moved again. The brickwork and everything is part. You'll recognise this anyway from video for the innovation, or the Genie innovation, as I says about creating a workshop. Basically, I've started that. I have, so that's why I'm here. Out of the other place and into here, because it's a bit more space for a bit of a workshop, a bit of an office type thing, and it just seems a little bit more appropriate. It does. So we're building on it, and more on that in a moment anyway, because I have to offer my apologies. You're probably viewing this through YouTube, hence the reason why different soundtrack and things like that. And not only that, the delay is because the unfortunate truth is that the host provider, not mentioning any names, seemingly folded. So I'm having to do this shifting and changing again. Seems to be that it's the story of Shadow Crown Services' life at the moment, and things shifting and changing. But at the same token, positive out of a negative, it just shows how flexible the system is. Be able to adapt and move around and ensure that you keep getting these things, these messages and whatnot, to let you know that I'm still there. Or sometimes there might be a bit of a delay. Other times you'll get more than what you bargained for. Okay, but be patient. I have been watching. It's everything from Jeremy Corbyn to Theresa May, from George Osborne to Philip Hammond, from Donald Trump to Vladimir Putin, from Bashar Assad to Kim Jong-un, Elon Musk and NASA, Brexit to the undoing of the Union, or progressive undoing of the Union, from Grenfell to Dubai, from growth hubs in one place to train lines for the benefit of the parts, for the benefit of a greater whole. Yeah, listening and watching all sorts of stuff, going around, and it's, you think to yourself, well, sometimes, whilst I may have an opinion and I have 1,001 ideas, maybe one of them ideas is to say, right, maybe it's best if I don't say anything. Just allow you to get on with it. Don't put my 2 pennies worth in. Okay? After all, it is about you. Doesn't necessarily affect me, and if it did, then yeah, that's when I'd have something to say. But in the context of this exercise, or rather this process, or the reason why we're here, no, it doesn't always require for me to say anything. After all, that is what people are paid for in positions of leadership and whatnot. Which, incidentally, I guess you could say from the last message, in terms of leadership and likeness, yeah, there are marginal aspects that if I was to work with today's day and age, people who I know will know the current leaders, maybe my style is a little bit more like Vladimir Putin's. We're seemingly laid back. Yeah, kind of got the old kind of like battle kind of frame of mind. It's just like I like my contact sports and things like that. It's not meant to be kind of like masculine bravado type thing. It's just the way you are. It's the way we are. It's not just me and him. There's probably thousands of others that are out there, and they're just as laid back, easygoing guys. Just kind of try to work with the flow, the status quo of things, but people don't always like it when we turn around and say, well, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this whether you like it or not, because this is what will benefit my people from the point of view of leadership and leading a country, which in turn leads us onto them responses to China, to America, to various other countries. There's been a few, as a matter of fact, made up in. And as I said originally, the idea is I'm trying to promote conversation, communication. Yeah? The idea is to talk between you all. Yeah? Granted, I would like to chat with you all more often, but it sometimes can be a little bit impractical because I have got other things to do. Yeah? I would really love to do one thing great as opposed to many things good, but at the same token, once I've worked on them many things to a good standard, because my method of my paradoxical kind of like method, I will just go back to the things so they all end up becoming great anyway. You all know how it works, you know. But the point is communication. I try my best to actually keep up to speed with everything and try giving you information. Sometimes it's best if I don't. Other times I'm just saying to you guys, keep talking. So yes, I agree with it. But if he's not prepared to listen, if he's playing the field, trying to play his own game, what he's trying to do, I'll tell you here and now. He's trying to play catch up, put himself in a position, in a stronger negotiating position. So basically he feels that your ability to negotiate with him is much weaker. It's kind of like how the EU were working. Yeah? I did say to you right from the beginning, didn't I, that whatever it is I put on these videos can be used for both good and bad. Yeah? Which becomes the strongest, the bad or the good, whichever you feed the most, so on and so on and so forth. So by the time you've finished, what you've got is the negative aspect of North Korea's leadership is trying to work things out to appease a spoiled, dumpling-sucking young man. Don't worry about it. I'm allowed to say things like that because, remember, in general terms, I'm here and I'm not. So there's nothing that really anybody can do about it. But nonetheless, the young man is listening to some advice from other people, coming to his own conclusions, seems to think that by continuing ignorantly the way he is, places himself in a much stronger position. All it takes is for an accident to happen, and that is where your war comes in. Yeah? Some people, as I was saying before about egotism, alright, trying to prove that he's capable of doing these things, trying to secure his position, yeah, as in the terms of hereditary right, yeah? Hence the reason why killing off family members, to try and secure his position, place fear into people. So Project Fear. So unfortunately, we can state to sometimes, yeah, the Western world is responsible, indirectly, bearing in mind, indirectly responsible for some of the things that goes on over in the East, because of the interpretation as to how things work. The negotiating stand of the European Union could be a lesson or principle that there are principal elements that are forming part of a lesson to teach people like Kim Jong-un how to act and react. Like I said, lead by example. Yeah? It's all there. Yeah? You just got to look close enough and pay enough attention to see it. Right? Now, the upshot is that both China and Russia, I appreciate where the pair of you come from. China's more about the economic state, and Russia's more about the peaceful side of things. Alright, they may have some involvement, to what extent is another thing, but it's more about peaceful, giving other people a chance in some ways. But to the pair of you, how far do you allow it to go before enough's enough? Yeah? The accident will happen eventually because of the pig ignorance of a young man. And I mean that literally in his case. Up here and in here. Right. As far as my input goes towards them, it's your choice. As far as my input goes towards him, I've already said my piece. Yeah? At the end of the day, on the other side of the veil, hey, there's a very special place for him. So the upshot is that I'm not in a position to do anything about this on this side of the veil, only make suggestions. Yeah? Okay, now I can also look and thinking about things. I also offer my humblest of respect and condolences to those who have lost their lives or lost families and family members, friends even, within a lot of these weather disasters. As you've noticed, they've progressively got worse over the years. No, I'm not trying to be fear-mongering. I'm just simply stating that I can remember way back when winter was winter, summer was summer, autumn and spring likewise. Yeah, up to a couple of foot's worth of snow in the winter, bright days on a summer, and lasting for more than about at the very least 2 weeks. And then it was on and off, and then back again. Yeah? So the entire part of the summer was pretty good. Yeah? So the long and short of it all is looking at that. Looking at the other information that has been coming through for people's reviews and researches of climate change, I'm sorry to say that I can honestly say that over a 20-year cycles, right, 76 was probably the hottest years, as said, on the record, one of the hottest years on record. 40 years later we get the same again. So in between that, 20 years in, the summer wasn't exactly great, but the winter was anywhere up to like a foot or so deep. So the climate in itself is changing much more rapidly compared to some of the information that I've seen. It's becoming more sporadic, so there's longer periods of times, yeah? Like in terms of electronics, shall we say sine waves, right? They're doing this. It's hot and cold weathers, and it gets hotter and then it's colder and whatnot. And between each period and event, it's going to be longer. Yeah? But as we've been progressing over the years, industry, cars, and so on and so forth, like, then points are progressively becoming closer together. So now they're kind of like over 20 years. Yeah? To the point where what will happen when that comes right back to back each other? Do we have astronomical kind of like heat waves, or do we go into an ice age? Yeah? Or does the actual climate change back to the normal again, which is basically winter's a winter, summer's a summer, likewise for spring and autumn. Yeah. The upshot is that we are contributing to the change. Get over it. Accept it. Get over it. Get on with it. It's a fact of life. Right? For those who still think we live on a flat earth, yeah. Oh, come on now. What can you say to that? It's kind of like, we've come on a long way. The fractal light and so on and so forth. We learn it in physics of what happens when we put light on spherical surfaces and so on and so on, and everything likens itself to that in reality and everyday life and so on. So everything points to the fact that we're not on a flat Earth. Yeah. Space images with America missing. Where is it? If it was a flat Earth, we'd be able to see America. Yeah, and so on and so forth. It's the same with climate change. The climate may have a certain amount of CO2 and various other gases, toxic gases in the environment based on livestock and so on and so forth. Of course it will. You know? A couple of 100,000 head of cattle farting all day long is naturally going to give off some gas. Try living next to it. You'll soon see. Right? Point is, yes, it's going to give off some gas. Yeah? But then introduce a couple of million cars, a couple of 100,000 factories, yeah, and you're telling me that that's not going to have an impact on the environment? Cut down a third of the rainforest, yeah, harvest the seas, put drilling platforms in the oceans. Please, if you have evidence somewhere lurking in it to prove that each one of these elements does not have an impact on the ecology of the planet or the environment of the planet, then prove it. I want to see it. Because I know too full well it is. I don't need data, I don't need things to say. All I have to do is, right, everything's calm there. I drop in a mining platform there. All the fish and everything disperse, all the waste and rubbish and everything coming out of it, pouring, it increases the toxicity of the actual the local environment. You start drilling in, yeah? And so on and so forth. You're changing the environment, even if it is only immediate. You don't need data to prove it. Data. You don't need it. It's there. It's fact. It's evident. It's just. Accept it, right? We need to move forward. Now, that being said, right? That being said, yes, I have seen the element of the UK moving towards fossil fuel-free vehicles by 2040. In other words, electric cars by 2040. Good stuff. Green energy, so on and so on and so forth. My only opinion is when it comes down to places like America and places like China, as in high populations, I'm not comparing the likenesses in whether they are or they aren't part of any form of green treaty. Point is, large populations, is that there's enough about your economy and there's enough people within your countries to be able to actually make a green economy work. The only reason a green economy won't work is if you don't want it to. Or, if you're like the Green Party for the last several years, although they are changing, so I'm watching, is that you don't know how to formulate a plan to develop a green economy. Yeah? Makes sense, doesn't it? Fair to say, would you know? And that's what it's all about. So progressively, everything seems to be getting there. So I've not really got too much to say. This is just a point of observation. This is what I've seen. This is just feeding back of what I've seen back to say that I have seen it. So I'm just reiterating what you said. And, well, agreeing with it to one extent or another. Yeah. As far as my input goes, to wrap this up now, keeping it short. Yay! For the first time, keeping this short. Shadow Crown will be back online again soon. Again, it's just a hosting issue. The reason I've been absent is not only because of a hosting issue, but is also because I've been working on the innovation. So this forms part of it too. As you can probably hear, you might have heard a couple of times the plinky plinkies and whatnot. I do pay attention to what's going on, you know. And there's little things going on around me that tell me, hey, you know, some news are coming. Hey, this has changed. Hey, this is that's happened. You know, so I'm always made aware. Yeah? But this is being worked on. The innovation. That's all come down now, barring on Indiegogo. I think that's finished now, actually, or is about to, not far from being finished. 2 investors have come forward. 2 after having a chat with them and everything, and in actual fact, surprisingly, and I say surprisingly, it's a surprise to both of us, it was, that we share a similar ambition, shared a similar idea. Yeah? We've been running with this idea and developing the idea probably for as long as each other. Yeah? The only difference between the two is mine was a lot more well formed. It was a lot more detailed. You could see it actually working on paper. I'd already made the effort to move forward, and I've got the abilities to actually put it together. Ideally, like I said to you in the last one, help me to help you. Yeah? Help me to help you, and I've been seeing that, you know, throughout the network. Yeah? Well, yeah, Jerry Maguire, that's the one. Help me to help you. The idea is that they've done just that, right? Because by helping me helps them, because it fulfills their ambitions to try and make things work. Also, our shared interest, as in the environment and people and whatnot in rural areas, and it's helping each other to help you. Okay? So for the past month, that has come to fruition. It is working, and I just got to do a few tweaks to it. It does. No, seriously, it's not none of this stuff that you've seen across YouTube and so on and so forth. I'm not doing this, right? And then, see, the problem is that what little reputation that I've built in this environment, I'm not going to risk that, right, by creating something that you'd find on YouTube, right? This device currently is in its science project stage, so it is a little bit bigger than what was proposed. However, as seen by my investors, once it's completed and it's running smoothly, because this device is actually independent now, it does do what it says on the tin. It does. Once it's running smoothly, it's finished, and I can compact everything, and it goes nicely to the size what I'm talking about. And in some instances, this particular model, if I'm right by saying, will actually be slightly smaller, but producing the amount of power required. Right? So it is working. Yeah. Next step, as I'm currently working on, is patent. The patent is not necessarily the idea in itself, that already exists. Not necessarily the components, because they already exist, as I pointed out. It's more about the idea, it's the device itself. It's what the device can in fact do. However, there will be one or two new components in there. Or in this case, there will be one completely new component in there. And there is. Yes, there will be one completely new component in there. So that will be hitting the patent office soon, or patent office soon. No. That's the point we're at now. Just tweaking, making it a lot smoother, and then refining that one component to create the whole unit to be patented, and then it'll be there for everybody. Yeah, well, so, and then the idea is to ensure that basically, well, it rolls out properly rather than just hitting the marketplace left, right, and centre and causing more problems than what was intended. Yeah, so it's regulated properly, so it doesn't cause any damage, any economic or social damage. Yeah. So there you go. That's where I'm at. Once I've done that one, and once I've sorted the hosting issue out, right, touch wood, sorted the hosting issue out, then we'll get on with the politics. As some of you will have seen, Utilitarian Democrats is there. The framework and everything is there. It's got the forum there and everything. Right? It just needs more body content. And it does. There's the roles there as well that need populating. The framework is there. So we're getting there. I'll bring forward the policies that I was using in the other side, and then we'll start refining them. Yeah? And that's it. Cyclic motions. Keep doing this, doing this, doing this, until I've got the income coming in to bring staff on to do these things. You know, I have to work at whatever pace that I'm able to work at. The slowest, as they say within the military, you work to the slowest component. Is the same with electronics. You work to the slowest component. The slowest component, or the weakest component in this instance, is show me the money. Ha! Yeah. So it's there. To wrap up, in the terms of the leadership styles, yes, we've already mentioned one, but I think the best way for me to say this is, looking at the adverts, is Pathfinder. Somebody called it a Wayfinder, which is fine. It's self and same thing really, but Pathfinder. Yeah? Who's that? That's generally the direction I'm coming from. Right? That's not to say that anybody who wants to get on board has to be like that. You remember, for the party, you bring to the table what you feel can benefit not only the party, which is the individual part within utilitarianism, what can benefit the party, but what you believe will benefit the broader sphere, the broader marketplace, the broader society, the country. Yeah. So remember the parts, build them up, create a whole. It's all there. Makes perfect sense when you actually adjust yourself to it. Right, looking at this now, it's 28 minutes and 25 seconds. So, I've said what I can say. Now, bag off! No, seriously. That's it for the time being. I will try and make it a regular thing, but like I said, be patient with me. I'm not ignoring you. I have got other things going on, and until I've got through these bits and bobs and I've started to generate a revenue stream for all of this, and found people who are prepared to take that leap of faith into something new, something that they can shape and help shape the rest of the country, and so on and so forth. That's when things will start to work. I can only do so much. Even if I was actually to concentrate my efforts on one thing at a time, which is incidentally what I'm doing, but so wholly and solely, there is still only so much I can do. Right? One, you want it to work, help me make it work. On that note, enjoy the rest of your day, chin up, crack on. Yeah? Have a good one. Oh yeah, and congrats to Kate and Will on their new and up and coming arrival.